To test our API calls, I will be using Postman. You can use other software. We are not going to be making any terribly complex calls, so you should be able to easily follow even if you use another software than Postman. Now, before we actually can make the call, we need to run the app. And the way I'm going to run it is pressing Ctrl, holding Ctrl, and pressing F5. This starts the app without debugging mode, and even after the browser is closed, the IIS server still runs. So I can then simply make changes and build the app and test it in Postman without the need to constantly restarting the app in the browser. But if you have a hard time keeping the IIS running without actually having the project running, then by all means you can always just start the project before jumping into the Postman. Alright, so I'm going to my project and I'm going to press down Control key on the keyboard and press F5, and then it will build the project and start a browser. And the browser opens and the page cannot be found, and it's because we are not working with any views. What I need here though is to copy the localhost and the port number, which in my case is 60039, but you will most likely have something else. And now, even if I close the browser, if I go down here, you can see over here I have an IIS Express, which is my server that's running even though I already closed the browser, and here's my Book API project, and you can see that the HTTP localhost 60039 is running. So that's why I prefer to just press Ctrl and F5 rather than going into debug mode, because if you run in debug mode and you close the browser, you will also close the server as well. So now I can go back to the Postman and I can paste the localhost and the port number 60039 in my case into the URI here, and make sure that from the drop down you have the get selected, because we are getting the countries. So let's see what happens if we just run it this way, and I can tell you it won't be anything good yet. We got a 404 not found right here. So when we just run the local port, nothing happens. So now let's add our URI, which is the API/countries, and now we should get countries, right? Well, we won't. Now we get internal server error. So let's actually scroll down and see what the error is. And it says here that an unhandled exception occurred while processing the request, unable to resolve service for the type Book API project.services.iCountry repository. So now again, remember the dependency injection? Because that's what it's telling us that it's missing. We created a service, but we also need to register it. And we do that in the startup page in the configure services method.